Earnestly podcast coming to you March 9th, 2023. How you guys doing? Thursday episode here. Down the fight. All right. So anyway, got some stuff to talk about my mind here to talk about here. All right, we got some answers. I mean, as you guys been following on the podcast the last couple of weeks, month and a half, whatever it may be. I've been going through a lot of health challenges as of late. Although we have sort of turned things around a little bit. But we got some news here, some updates on that, major updates on that. And basically, you know, I thought I'd be in a worse mood about this, but I'm actually encouraged. Last episode I said that I was last week I said last week went to the doctor. Wow, a little place today. I went to the doctor last week, and we basically did some blood work to see if indeed I am diabetic and all the other things. And today we find out I am, yes, officially type 2. I am a type 2 diabetic as of today, officially. And I thought I'd be a little more worried about that. I thought I'd be a little more depressed about that. But I'm actually encouraged because last week I went to the doctor and did my initial tests. I actually was so obsessed, so panicky about everything that I flipped everything. Now I had already been on the mend with my neck issues, which by the way I still do much better. I still on the up and up. Although I haven't seen a chiropractor in about a week now because of my kid being sick all weekend and haven't had a chance to go with him being sick. It's not really ideal for me to go there while the wife's at work and all that. But with all that, it's encouraging. I'm actually encouraged because first one learning about this disease, learning about diabetes. You hear about it for years, but unless you have it, you don't necessarily put much stock into it. You don't take it seriously until it impacts you. And now it hits me now. But I'm very encouraged because number one, this is reversible. In fact, it's actually easily reversible. You just have to put the work in. You just have to put the work in. You put the work in, it's going to happen for you. So that's what I've been doing. I've already started. I told my doctor today after we saw her last week, and a week later, I told her I'm already ahead of the curve. She said everything I'm doing now is actually all good. I've upped my greens. I'm eating more healthier proteins. I've cut back heavily on sugars. One of my biggest vices was sodas and is sodas. And in fact, I would argue soda is actually probably the main reason I got here. Because I don't smoke and I really drink and I'm not a big snacks guy. I mean, the only vice I have that in terms of food and sweets, I probably have is chocolate chip cookies, which is actually the only thing I've been craving for the last week. But aside from that, I've never really been much of a snacks guy or candy guy, so that really hasn't had an impact on me. But bad carbs and processed foods but especially sodas, That's the one thing. I mean, I used to drink sodas like it was water at the peak of my powers. But I'm very encouraged though, because doing the research and having a community of people that are also doing their own health journeys for whatever reason, whether it be they're diabetic or just trying to lose weight or trying to just better themselves. I am blessed to have the people in my life that continue to encourage me. My sister, my parents, obviously. Number one, my wife. My wife has been amazing on this, and her and I both are going through this with each other. And honestly, I don't know where I'd be without her. Honest with this, because all of this stuff is so like foreign to me. I don't do doctors. I hate doctors. I've never really been someone that's big on going to the doctors and the hospital because I never needed it. I've always I've always lived a life of ignorance is bliss, pretty much, where I just, okay, I'm just going to live my life as is, and I'll cross the road, I'll cross that bridge when I need to. And now we're at the bridge now. I'm type 2 diabetic. I look at the word diabetes and it scares me. Growing up, it's, seeing the word, just the word diabetes looks scary. But again, I'm encouraged because in doing the research and listening to specialists, especially Dr. Jason Funk, who's really been changing my life, honestly, in reading this stuff. He's a kidney specialist that has much better intel when it comes to diabetes and intermittent fasting and all that, which I've been doing for a long time. But intermittent fasting, which does help diabetes, but the thing I was doing wrong for the last couple of years was I wasn't eating clean. In the 8 hours I do eat, I was eating whatever I wanted. I eat processed foods and sodas and the whole nine, all that. So that's why intermittent fasting, while it did help a little bit in the beginning, a couple of years ago when I lost 50 pounds, it wasn't necessarily helping my health either. That's why I kept saying on the podcast that even though I would lose the weight, I still feel like crap. And now I know why, because I was still eating bad foods. You know, so I've been really obsessed with numbers since then. The last week, I've been obsessed with sugar counts, how much sugar I'm allowed to eat in my body, how much sugar is allowed in my body. The American Heart Association says that men can have up to 36 grams of sugar before it's too much. That's to be the average. So I've been making a lot of adjustments. First off, water. Water is the be all end all for when it comes to all this stuff. It's the be all end all. And it's not that hard actually. To be honest with you, I haven't craved soda in a week. I haven't craved it at all. I thought this would be a lot harder. In terms of that and in killing craving, and I do have cravings for certain things. For the only thing I really craved last week or so is as I mentioned, chocolate chip cookies. Which I end up my wife found a sugar free cookies. It's not too bad. I mean, it's not the same as the cookies I love, but and there are other options too. Also, with making your own chocolate cookies, you can replace the sugar with potassium with bananas and things of that nature. But again, this is the thing you find out when you go down a rabbit hole and you start doing the research of things that are you can replace for. But as I'm doing research too, especially, this is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. I love eggs, for example. Eggs are absolutely allowed. In fact, it's encouraged. But what I've done my eggs recently too, and I did this till this week, was I started adding greens to it. I started adding spinach and parsley and celery and not celery, parsley, onions, cheese is allowed also too, and and it's. I'll be honest with you, it's actually made my breakfast even better, and I'm filled. The adjustments I've made when it comes to um when it comes to replacing things and all that stuff, I've lowered my bread a little bit, because obviously bread turns to sugar and you don't want that to be a thing. And these are things I'm learning now, like on the go. It's when you look at the equations of all this and you look at how you do this, it's simple. It's basically, in my case, it's up in the greens. Lowering the bread, lowering the carbs, breads. In my case, breads and rice. And now I'm eating, rice in the way it should be eating rice, not as a big, big thing, a big chunky of food. It should be literally a quarter of a cup of rice per meal. Replacing that with, adding that with greens, with broccoli and whatever, and then meat. And I love meat, so meat's allowed. In fact, they say even red meat's allowed. Although you want to watch that too, also, especially you want to make sure you're not eating too much red meat either. You want to make sure you're eating, protein, but make sure, like anything else, it's a balance. But chicken, of course, allowed. Fish, which I love. I love fish. I've been killing the salmon my wife's making this week. So it's been a challenge, but it's also been eye opening for me. this process has been eye-opening for me. But I'm encouraged right now. Another big win for me is I was worried about if I was diabetic, if I had to take an insulin needle, which I don't. Thank God. I hate needles. I mean, the fact I'm pricking my fingers like this whole entire week, 6 times a day, although it hasn't been that bad recently because I got used to it. It still sucks. I still hate it, but not as bad. But I hate needles. And again, this diabetes, as I'm again down the rabbit hole and doing numbers and looking at research and all that, this is a big deal also in my community, in the Black community, especially with males. It's a big deal, and it's something that you know if you don't take care of it, it can be fatal. And luckily, I've gotten ahead of it. My liver is good apparently. My kidney is still good, so all those other parts of my body is still functioning well. But again, if I continue going this hole, if I continue not taking care of this and not reversing the sugar and all that, that may not be the case in years to come. And I want to be alive. I want to be alive. I want to be alive to see my kids get older. I want to be alive to see my wife and I grow old. And yeah. And this is why I want to build a community. I want to build a community through this podcast, especially too, surrounding our health. We talk football, basketball, we talk sports, we talk pro wrestling, we talk politics, we talk culture, we talk a lot of things in this podcast, and I enjoy that. I also want to add health now to the mix of things we start taking seriously on the show. And it's important. I want to build a community, not just because for me, but for us, for everyone, because it's so important. It's so important. But I said I'm encouraged. I'm really encouraged about things. Another thing also I've been doing, although in the last couple of days I haven't been able to because my kid's been sick, is I've been exercising a lot. I've been walking. I walk now 3 miles a day. I walk a mile and a half every morning. I wake up early. Remember I was telling you guys that I wanted to start making it a habit to wake up early morning before my kids go to school. I did that Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and then today I couldn't. My youngest has been sick, so I haven't been able to, I had a chance to wake up. I've been nursing him, helping him get better. So that's one thing I've been doing, especially upping the greens, lowering the carbs, cutting the sugar, upping the exercise. It's really a simple formula. When you really break it down, it's a simple formula. The question is going to be whether or not could you, the person, deal with that? Could you, the person, dealing with this situation, are you mentally strong enough to break through and handle that? That's the challenge here. In my case, it's tough. I'm not saying it's easy, but sometimes it takes things like this, life-changing things like this, to really get you on your ass, to really knock on your ass, to really take it seriously. And I'm there now. I'm there. So, like I said, up in the water, up in the exercise, up in the greens, lowering the sugar, I mean, and I say lower sugar. I mean, in my case, I'm probably cutting out the sugar, lowering the carbs. I've seen some improvements. My blood sugar levels were sky high last week. I've actually gotten it down to a point where I think the lowest I had. So I think my sugar levels at one point last week when I started doing the testing last week was at 330 something. I think it was at one point. That's insanity. That's it's insane. And last one, I know I tested about a day ago, 2 days ago. The lowest I got was down to 150. Still high, but you see when you make the changes, it takes about 3-4 days for your body to adjust, to flip it, and then it takes a couple more weeks to body to adjust to it. And then if you keep doing it, you start seeing the overall improvement in your body. So again, I want this to be something we build here, a community here. I'm gonna start bringing on more people on the show, friends, hopefully specialists out there, health specialists, to talk about health. Because this is the next phase of my life now. I really want to attack is better health, especially in the black community, especially on that. So it's like I'm even more motivated there on that end to try to be a positive voice, to be uh someone that I have this platform. Look, I'm not Stephen A. Smith or you know David Letterman or I'm not famous. I'm not universally known. I'm not this guy. I mean, I have a following. People follow me in my podcast, and I appreciate it. I've had this podcast for 12 years. I appreciate it, and I've used it for sports, which I love. I've used it for culture, for politics, for pro wrestling, for just shoot the shit with friends. And I love it. I love this show, and I want to continue using this show now to push this, the importance of health, the importance of taking care of your body, taking care of those things necessary. There's great specials out there. Again, I want to thank my first of my wife. I'll say it again. My wife has been my rock through all this. She's tough to deal with too at times because when we're on cracking the whip together and when we're on the same page, she's one of those she tells like it is, and I need that. So my wife for starters, and my parents, especially my dad, who's actually been someone for years, has been on my ass about my health and getting serious about that. My sister, Christina, who's been on the show before, she's another one who's on my ass with my health. Friends of mine, especially my friend James Thompson, who will be on the show soon. I think I'll have him on next week, hopefully. He's another one who's been a major inspiration for me. He's been helping me with, with things and helping me with what I can. He's has his own journeys going on now, especially too. We'll talk about that on the podcast when we talk again, on here. And just the family and friends that have been supportive of me, especially my kids, both my kids. When we go exercising every day, other than the last 2 days because my young son's been sick. I'll do my mile and a half walk around my lake 4 laps. So the 4 laps I run I like I did the math, and thank you to Brian Lacasse, my buddy Brian Lacasse, a coworker of mine, who actually got me an app to track that. 4 laps around my lake in my development is a mile and a half, over a mile and a half, should I say? And I do that twice a day. So right now I'm walking over 3 miles a day now. I never even fathomed doing that. And the best part for me too, it's easy because all I do is pop up some headphones, put on podcasts, and I love podcasts, and podcasts I'm behind on, and things I listen to like my YouTube playlist. I add up throughout the days, just throw it on and just start walking. It's easy. You're not even thinking about it, and that's kind of like also my way to get away and to clear my head. I've seen on a mental side how this has been for me, how good this has been for me by doing this, and this is just in a few days, in a week. I had already started eating healthier a little bit, started taking my vitamins and all those things about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. When my neck issue started becoming a problem. I'm thankful, and I'll leave with this because I want this episode to just focus only on this health update. I am so thankful that I had a bulging disc, because it was a bulging disc that caused me to go to the chiropractor to get worked on, and my chiropractor, who's also a nutritionist as well too. Shout out to Kevin Usry. He's doing a fantastic job on my neck, by the way. Go see him. All American Wellness in here in South Florida, up in North Palm Beach. Who's been fantastic. So when we were going through the process of talking about my neck and why I'm there, he goes beyond just fixing the neck. It's more than just fixing the neck. It's also health. All of this is connected. So basically, You know, a couple weeks ago, like I said on the show already once, a couple weeks ago, but I'll say it again. When things got starting to get better for my neck, I started, we took up my blood pressure and it was still high. So my wife said, "That's it. We're going to the doctor next week. We're setting up a doctor appointment, and we're going to go start making this a priority every week, every other week to go see a doctor and get to the bottom of all this health stuff, not just with the neck." So this all started because of my bulging disc. I am so thankful that the bulging disc happened, because if it wasn't for that, it wasn't for me hurt my neck and I having to be out of work, and not out of work, but also but out of my main job for a couple of weeks and do my main job, which cost me a little bit of money too on top of that. I may not be here to be moving forward as a now type 2 diabetic. And I was worried, but I'm not worried anymore. I'm not scared anymore. Because again, this is reversible. This is reversible. This is not a death sentence at all. At all. And we have a community of friends here I'm building too. Some people come to this podcast. Like Kyle Nash, for example, who's, we talk about this kind of stuff too, especially because he has his own health challenges he's working on as well. So he's been a big help for me as well too, Kyle Nash, involving the health and diabetes and all that. So this is a next step. I'm encouraged. I'm very encouraged, and I hope you guys are too. And if you have health issues, first off, please see a doctor every so often. Check blood sugar, blood pressure. I'm gonna be on medication for a little bit too, especially so I'll wrap up this real quick. I'm actually gonna be. I'm one that hates pills. I've gone from someone like last year I was taking 0 pills a day, other than allergy pills, occasionally, to now I'm taking probably upwards of 9 to 10 pills a day now. Now, granted, most of those pills are vitamins, fish oil, omega-3s, multivitamins, joint probiotics. But I'm also going to start taking pills for the diabetes. I'm starting medication also for the high blood pressure and for my cholesterol. And like I said, guys, this is part of the show now. This is going to be part of the community here. I'll keep you updated what's going on, how my condition is. And so I am definitely looking forward. I'm looking forward to moving ahead of this and want to do my next visit with a doctor in 3 months. Hopefully that A1C levels are going to be way down than it was today. Well, when it was last week when I first tested. It's probably lowered now because I'm so far 7 days in. I've been kicking ass when it comes to stopping the sugars, and you can tell them when I do my blood. The blood it looks much thinner than it was last Friday. So, keep you guys posted. Like I said, this is a special episode. Like I promised you guys. Entitled "I Am Type 2" because obviously I am now Type 2 diabetic, and we will talk and be updated, and we'll get back to our normal shenanigans on the podcast. Just want to let you guys know what's going on with me. So, I'll talk to you guys later. God bless y'all, and until next one. See ya.